Hello everyone. My name is Mayu. This channel introduces things you should know about Japan and Japanese people for those who are interested in Japanese culture and customs, and those who are thinking about traveling to Japan. I provide information unique to Japan, such as culture, food, art, lifestyle, and tourism. This time, we'll be reporting on February in Japan. Although it's still bitterly cold, spring is upon us in Japan. It may seem early to people overseas, but this is the time when we begin to feel the arrival of spring little by little and experience the changing seasons. However, at the root of Japanese sensibilities are customs from the days of the lunar calendar, and when these are applied to the new calendar, there can inevitably be a 1 or 2 month delay. In fact, I also think that February is still the middle of winter, and that young people today probably feel that spring arrives when the cherry blossoms bloom. In the Japanese calendar, Risshin, the beginning of spring, occurs in early February. Risshin is the first day of spring according to the 24 solar terms, which indicate the seasons based on the position of the sun, and is considered the beginning of spring on the calendar. In the Western calendar, the beginning of spring is the vernal equinox, so there is no culture that celebrates Risshin as the start of spring like in Japan. Even though it is spring, it is still bitterly cold, and perhaps the feeling of gradually feeling the signs of spring amidst that cold is uniquely Japanese. Risshin is determined astronomically based on the angle of the sun. Therefore, it does not visit on a fixed date every year. In 2025, Risshin will be February 3rd, and in 2026 and 2027 it will be February 4th. Setsubun refers to the day before the beginning of spring. Originally, the beginning of spring was considered the beginning of the year, and Setsubun has been celebrated with great fanfare as what we now call New Year's Eve. It is said that demons appear at turning points when new things begin, and events were held to ward off evil spirits, and disease in preparation for the new year. Demons are likened to the illnesses and disasters that tend to occur at the change of seasons, and rituals are held to drive them away. Beans are thrown while chanting Oni wa Soto, Fuku wa Achi, demons out, good fortune in. Roasted beans are used for the scattering. If uncooked beans were scattered, they would sprout and prevent the evil spirits that were supposed to have been chased away from them from growing. It is said that eating the same number of beans as your age will make you stronger and less susceptible to illness. In some places, peanuts are also scattered. How to throw beans. It is said that demons come late at night, so it is best to throw beans at night. Around 8 to 10 p.m. is ideal. Open the front door, windows, and doors, and throw beans starting from the back room, calling out, Oni wa Soto. Demons out, as if to drive the demons out. Once you've finished throwing, immediately lock the door to keep the demons out and prevent your good fortune from escaping. Next, throw beans into the room while shouting, Fuku wa Achi. Good fortune in. Throw beans at the front door last. After throwing the beans, pray for protection from misfortune for the year, and eat one more bean than your age. If you don't like beans, or if you end up eating too many, you can drink fukucha, lucky tea, made with 3 beans, the auspicious number. Naridasan Shinshoji Temple Bean Throwing. Every year on February 3rd, beans are thrown from a special stage in front of the great main hall. Celebrities, including kabuki actors and sumo wrestlers, participate as special guests, and the event is broadcast live on television, attracting approximately 50,000 visitors. The principal deity of Shinshoji Temple is Akala, and it is said that even demons can change their minds in front of him. Therefore, instead of chanting Oni wa Soto with demons out, the beans are thrown only with the words Fuku wa Achi, good fortune in. On Setsubun, there is a custom of warding off evil spirits by impaling grilled sardine heads on holly branches and displaying them at the entrance of the house. As demons are said to hate smelly and sharp, painful things, this custom is believed to ward off evil spirits and misfortune from entering the home. Amaki. On Setsubun, people eat a hamaki, rolled sushi, while facing the auspicious direction of the year, praying for health and happiness throughout the year. Omaki is a traditional Japanese sushi roll. It contains 7 types of ingredients, each representing one of the 7 lucky gods. Eating omaki is said to bring good health and good fortune. Originating from the Kansai region, it became widespread nationwide after the 1990s, driven by sales promotions primarily by convenience stores. Omaki is traditionally eaten facing the auspicious direction of the food, known as the which changes each year, and while eating, people make a wish. One rule is that no sound should be made from the beginning to the end of eating. However, since this custom was originally unfamiliar to people outside of Kansai like me, we don't eat a hamaki in one bite, but rather cut it into bite-sized pieces and share it. Lunar New Year. In 2026, Lunar New Year will fall on February 17th, with the date shifting each year. Lunar New Year is a special celebration held in China and the Chinese-speaking world. Also known as Spring Festival, in China, Lunar New Year marks the beginning of the new year on January 1st of the lunar calendar. As a result, Lunar New Year falls approximately 2 months later than the New Year's Day according to the Gregorian calendar, which is currently used in Japan and around the world, usually occurring at the end of January or early February. Lunar New Year was common in Japan until the Meiji period, but the custom of celebrating it has disappeared in modern times. Lunar New Year is a new year based on the lunar calendar, which is based on the phases of the moon. Risshin, the beginning of spring, also marks the beginning of a new year, but while Risshin is based on the movement of the sun, Lunar New Year is based on January 1st of the lunar calendar, which is based on the phases of the moon. With the addition of New Year's Day according to the new calendar, we can experience the beginning of a new year 3 times a year, coexisting without confusion. However, in Japan, there are no public holidays other than January 1st on the Gregorian calendar, and there are no events to mark the Lunar New Year, so it is not a topic of conversation in modern times. National Foundation Day, February 11th. This is the day that Emperor Jimmu, the first emperor of Japan, is said to have ascended to the throne. The Nihon Shoki records January 1st, 660 BC, as the date of his accession in the lunar calendar. This date, converted to the Gregorian calendar, is February 11th. February 11th was designated Kigen-setsu, National Foundation Day, in 1872. It was celebrated as a national holiday until 1948. After the war, Kigen-setsu was abolished by GHQ, but was later designated a national holiday as National Foundation Day in 1966. The Japanese Imperial Year, also known as the Koki Imperial Year, is a unique Japanese calendar system that begins in 660 BC, the year when Emperor Jimmu, the first emperor, ascended to the throne. It is also known as the Jinmu Emperor accession era. Adding 660 years to the Gregorian calendar makes it the imperial calendar, and 2026 is the 2686th year of the imperial calendar. Hatsuma, first day of the horse. In ancient calendars, dates and times were counted according to the 12 zodiac signs: rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Hatsuma is one of the 12 zodiac signs. The first Hatsuma day in February came to be called Hatsuma. The date of Hatsuma changes each year depending on the combination of the zodiac sign and the calendar. In 711, the day Inari deity is said to have descended upon Fushimi Inari Taisha Shrine was the first day of the horse in February. When people think of Inari Shrine, they probably think of foxes. Hawever, Inari deity is not necessarily a fox. Foxes are said to be messengers of Inari deity and protect it. To commemorate this, Hatsuma became a symbolic day for Inari worship, and has since been celebrated at Inari shrines across the country. Hatsuma is a special event held to pray for bountiful harvests and the safety of families. Many religious ceremonies are held on this day to pray for the growth of crops and the development of the region. It is customary to eat inari sushi on Hatsuma. Fox's favorite food is fried tofu. It's said that inari sushi originated when people offered not only fried tofu but also fried tofu stuffed with sushi rice on Hatsuma. Apparently, fried tofu, a fox's favorite food, began to be stuffed with rice brought in thanks to inari shin. In eastern Japan, the most common shape is a rice bale, modeled after a rice bale, while in western Japan, the most common shape is a triangular shape, inspired by the fox's ears. February 14th is St. Valentine's Day. In other countries, it's customary for men to give gifts to women on this day. In Japan, the opposite pattern is followed, with women giving gifts to men. In addition, in Japan, gifts are limited to chocolate. This tradition began in 1932, when a Japanese confectionery manufacturer ran an advertisement urging people to give chocolate on Valentine's Day. From this, the custom of giving chocolate to men on Valentine's Day became more diversified, with names like Honmei Choco, True Love Chocolate, Giri Choco, Obligation Chocolate, Tomodachi Choco, Friend Chocolate, and Jikin Choco, Self Chocolate, tailored to the recipient and relationship. As a result, the uniquely Japanese culture of women giving chocolate to men on Valentine's Day became established. Later, in the 1980s, White Day, a day for returning Valentine's Day gifts, emerged. This is also a uniquely Japanese culture. A man who receives chocolate from a woman on Valentine's Day must return the gift to her. Furthermore, this puts men at a significant disadvantage, as they must give back gifts worth several times the amount of chocolate. Recently, due to requests from men who find this a burden, and an understanding on both sides that it can also be a burden on women, it seems that people are moving towards giving chocolates to people they really want to give them to, such as their significant other, a lover, a close friend, or themselves. As a result, there seems to be a trend towards sales of high-end, expensive chocolates. This refers to the first strong southerly wind that blows each year after the beginning of spring. In Japan, it is a beloved natural phenomenon unique to this time of year, signaling the end of winter and the arrival of spring. It is often observed between the beginning of spring in early February and the vernal equinox in late March, and is a nationally famous natural phenomenon that is often featured in the news. The term "Spring First" was originally a disaster prevention term used to warn of low pressure, and originated from an accident at sea. Sapporo Snow Festival. The Sapporo Snow Festival is a seasonal event that represents February in Japan, famous for its spectacular snow and ice sculptures. Held annually in February in Sapporo, Hokkaido, it has become a major tourist attraction. The Sapporo Snow Festival began in 1950. It began when local junior and senior high school students, under the guidance of their art teacher, created 6 snow sculptures with the goal of enjoying Hokkaido's cold winter. Gradually, local residents and businesses joined forces, and later, with the cooperation of the Japan Self-Defense Forces, the festival's scale steadily expanded. In recent years, it has grown into a hugely popular event, attracting many tourists from both within Japan and abroad. Nirvana Aniyani is one of the 3 major Buddhist memorial services. It is held on February 15th, the day the Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, passed away. It is a day to mourn the Buddha's passing and to give thanks for his virtues and teachings. February 23rd is the Emperor's birthday and is a national holiday. In addition to public audiences on the Emperor's birthday, a celebration is also held, inviting the Prime Minister and ambassadors from various countries. Leap Day, February 29th. It takes the Earth 1 revolution around the Sun to complete 1 year, but it's actually 365.24 days, not exactly 365 days. To adjust for the approximately 6-hour increase in time each year, an additional day is added every 4 years. A leap day is 6 hours x 4 years, which equals 24 hours, 1 day. When do people born on leap day, February 29th, get older? People born on leap days also get older at midnight on February 28th. This is determined by the age calculation law. Plum, Japanese apricot, This flower blooms in early spring, from January to March. It is often compared to the peach and cherry blossoms, which are members of the same family and similar to each other. However, their blooming seasons differ, meaning that plum blossoms bloom around February, producing fragrant white or pink flowers. Plums are harvested in mid to late June and processed into umebashi, plum wine, plum extract, jam, and other foods familiar to Japanese people. As plum blossoms bloom in March, which sometimes overlap with the peach and cherry blossom seasons, here are some of their distinctive features. Plum blossoms don't have green stalks, the stems and branches that only bear flowers, and each flower blooms individually, attached directly to the branch. This makes it appear as though there are fewer flowers. The tips of the petals are round. The trunks of the trees are black and rough. I walked around the neighborhood looking for flowers that can be seen at this time of year. Camellia. The Japanese pronunciation is sazenka, but both the scientific and English names are sasanqua camellia. This means that this flower is endemic to Japan. As the name suggests, the flowers themselves are a member of the camellia family and resemble camellias, but are smaller. Also, while camellias bloom in a cup shape, camellias bloom flatter. Japanese people distinguish between them by the time of year and the size of their flowers. Because they bloom in winter, they are also called Christmas camellias. They have a subtle fragrance similar to jasmine. Camellia flowers fall all at once, but camellia flowers fall one petal at a time. Daffodils. They are familiar to Japanese people because they often bloom along roadsides. At this time of year, there are occasional reports of people mistaking them for Chinese chives and eating them, resulting in food poisoning. The entire plant contains toxic substances. The yellow daffodil is commonly called daffodil, while the scientific name for all white and yellow daffodils is narcissus. This flower is the one that most signals the arrival of spring. The English poet William Wordsworth wrote beautiful poems filled with his love for nature. This time we've talked about February for Japanese people. Although we don't usually think about it, it turns out that Japanese people feel and experience the New Year 3 times and the arrival of spring twice. Even though we use the new calendar, customs from the time when the old calendar was used remain in our daily lives. We also see that there are 4 clearly defined seasons, and that people feel these changes in their daily lives. Perhaps February is the time when we really get a sense of what it means to be born in Japan and to be Japanese. That's all for today's video. Please look forward to the next video. Well, goodbye.